Mackenzie Lockhart from the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Mackenzie, thanks for coming in today because we're fixing to talk about an important topic.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Of course. So we're going to be dealing with healthy and unhealthy coping skills, and how we deal with our emotions has a huge impact,
Yes.
in our lives and also the people around us. So can you first tell us, can you just describe what a coping skill is?
Yeah, so coping skills, it's really a little fancy term that ultimately means the things that we do to deal with our emotions. And like you said, those things can have a huge impact on us and just kind of our overall mental health.
And we have good coping skills, and of
Yes.
course we can't forget there's bad coping skills as well.
Absolutely. And the difference between the two, Mari, is that those healthy coping skills, those are going to be things that allow you to really deal with that emotion, to maybe process it a little bit more, as well as doing activities that may increase some of that positive dopamine. It kind of helps with build up some of that resilience. Whereas unhealthy coping skills, it's going to more so do things that just bring on more shame, more guilt, maybe create more problems for you and leave you feeling more stuck.
Yeah, it kind of has like a rebound effect. Instead of making anything better, it'll make your problem way worse and also kind of feel worse. So can you give us examples of what the good coping skills look like?
Yes. So those good and healthy coping skills are going to be things like journaling, drawing, talking with someone that you really trust, even connecting with nature is a good one. I know I personally, hiking. I personally have gotten a little bit more into gardening, and it's just something about, just reconnecting with nature that can just be, just lift up your spirit a little bit.
Right.
Whereas those unhealthy coping skills, you may have someone that's struggling with drug use, alcohol overuse, even just straight up avoidance, self-harm, aggression or violence. Those are going to be more of those unhealthy type coping skills. Because again, it's not really helping you deal with whatever it is that's going on in your life.
And we kind of talked about how these skills, affect us, but can you talk about how they can affect our family members, those around us?
Absolutely. I want you to think for a second about someone who may be struggling with substance abuse. They usually didn't just get there overnight, but it could have been something that initially they started off with using it as a way to cope and maybe avoid dealing with some of those emotions. And so that definitely can have a huge impact on their friends and family and people around them. But one of the things I always say is that it's not about just stopping those unhealthy coping skills, but it's about replacing them with one of those more healthy coping skills.
Okay, and I'm learning a lot too. Well, I know, of course, I knew about the healthy coping skills, but I'm opening up my eyes to the unhealthy ones. So let's say we have viewers out there that want to learn more about this topic. Where can we go?
Yeah, the reality is that there really are some great resources online. Even just simply Googling healthy coping skills, right? There's stuff out there that maybe you didn't think about that would be great for you. Like I said, I don't know if I ever originally would have thought of gardening as a good healthy coping skill. Or I even had a period of time in my life where I got really into writing poetry, and that was a really healing thing for me. And so sometimes you got to try things out, see what works for you. Even just going for a walk and doing something a little active can be really great too. And just figuring out what works best for you as your best coping skills.
Well, Mackenzie, thank you so much for bringing us this good knowledge. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And stay with us. We have more Studio 4 on the way.